Hello, and welcome back to the UAS Magazine podcast. My name is Danielle Piekarski, and I'm your new host. Today, I am joined by Mary-Lou Smulders, Chief Marketing Officer at Dedrone. Welcome to the podcast, Mary-Lou.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, of course. So why don't we start by having you tell us about yourself and Dedrone?
Terrific. Well, I am an aerospace engineer by training, so I really feel at home at Dedrone. I've been in the software security industry for longer than I care to mention. And then as far as Dedrone goes, we are a counter UAS, or as I'm trying to evolve the industry, an airspace security company, recognizing that there are both good drones and potentially bad drones in the sky. And it's simply about securing our airspace, not just countering all drones. We offer the market a airspace security command and control solution, meaning that we are able to deliver the core software to give the operator a single view of their airspace based on as many different kinds and numbers of inputs that they like, as well as many different kinds of outputs that they may desire, depending on what their specific application is. And by outputs, I mean potential application, as well as feed into a higher level alerting system or command and control system.
Very interesting. And Dedrone has actually had a lot going on recently. Could you fill us in on some of Dedrone's recent news?
Yeah, it is super exciting right now. You can feel the entire industry taking off, and you can see a certain amount of consolidation in the marketplace. So from a user perspective, our user base has been expanding dramatically. In fact, at the end of Q3, I counted and saw that we are now in 40 countries around the world, which is a new milestone for us. And then on the offering side, really two major updates. The one is around solutions that we're offering, different kinds of solutions. Traditionally, we started with a fixed site solution, meaning you could put our airspace security on a stadium or a prison or an airport that doesn't move. But since then, we've added two forms of mobile solution. One we call Dedrone Rapid Response. That is on the back of a trailer that you can hook up to any SUV. It's especially interesting for law enforcement agencies that might have multiple sites that they need to protect depending on their daily responsibilities, like crime scenes or parades or even various different stadiums. We also launched Dedrone Portable, which is also a mobile solution, even more compact and lightweight, that can be man-packable or put into a single vehicle, mostly used for more military-type solutions, but also moving VIPs and extreme portable solutions where you just need something that is a little more compact. And then just earlier this month, we launched Dedrone Defender. Dedrone Defender is another iteration of our jammer or mitigation for drones. It's especially designed for urban environments and low collateral damage. Jammers are traditionally known to have significant collateral damage in that they disrupt many things in addition to the UAS flight. And this is based on narrowband or comb jamming and therefore has minimal effect outside of the drone that it's targeting. And then on the software side, we have really in the last 6 months dramatically upgraded our sensor fusion and autonomous background targeting. That's kind of a mouthful, but really what it's saying is that the software is continuously looking at potential drone targets in the background for the operator and only bringing to light to the operator's attention those that after it's done that interrogation based on AI, ML, and over 16 million images that we have in our database, which targets might indeed be truly nefarious. So there is a lot going on.
Yes, how exciting. Congratulations on all those developments, by the way.
Thank you.
Yes, so you mentioned that Dedrone offers detection services for stadiums and events. I've seen in the news recently that sporting events are more frequently being delayed due to drone interruption. Would Dedrone's detection technology be an option to resolve issues like that?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think it does merit an additional level of scrutiny. The White House recently came out with a national White House action plan that I'm sure you're familiar with around counter drone. And the most interesting thing from a stadium's perspective around that new document was that there was a letter written in conjunction with that, signed by basically all the open air stadium users. So it was signed by the NFL, the MLB, the NCAA, and NASCAR in strong support of really enhancing the levels of protection around a stadium or open air event. What's in place today often is a simple device that is able to detect DJI drones, which, to be fair, are still the vast majority of drones in the sky. Estimates put it somewhere between between 60 and 80%. An average of 70% of the drones in the sky probably are DJI, but it misses any non-DJI drones. And so one of the things that our solution could support is that type of solution, but adding additional sensors that would pick up non-DJI drones. And then with the potential passing of a stronger counter-drone law in the US, adding our mitigation solution, Dedrone Defender, that I referenced earlier. So that's absolutely something that we are actively working with our customers on. And I'll put in a little plug, Danielle. We actually have a webinar next week with the head of security for a major NFL stadium, where we will be talking about exactly this topic.
Interesting. I'll have to see if I can attend.
Thank you. Thank you for the shameless plug. I appreciate it.
So, going beyond the restricted airspace policy in sporting events, could you cover just a little bit? I know there's a lot we can go into here, but the current state of legislation and protection strategies in other areas of the UAS industry?
Yeah, so you're right. There is a lot going on, especially in the US around that legislation. And it's so complicated that I've actually written a blog that I'm hoping to put out later this week that you could find on our website. But just to give you the highest level overview of that, today there are only 4 federal agencies that have the authority to mitigate drones. The DOE and the DOD, so the Department of Energy and the Department of Defense, have that authority outright. And then 2 additional agencies were given that authority, DOJ and DHS, based on an act called Protection of Emerging Threats Act. And most of your listeners will be well aware that that act was set to expire in October. The Congress got together and simply extended that law into December of this year, at which point we'll need to take another look. And the debate going on right now is, should we keep the authorities the same? Should we minimize them based on mostly privacy concerns? Or should we expand them and, in that case, expand them along the lines of the White House National Action Plan that I referenced earlier? And building on that, there's actually another act that was put forward. It was a bipartisan act by Senators Johnson, Peters, Sinema, and Hassan, to expand those authorities. They're calling it the Safeguarding the Homeland from the Threats Posed by Unmanned Aircraft Systems Act. And that has a lot of the attributes that were referenced in that White House National Action Plan. So that's also in debate right now.
Okay. So shifting away from our nation's policy, have you seen an increased role of airspace security in warfare regions, such as this current situation in Ukraine?
That is so interesting. I think we have all generally become massively more aware of what drones can do in warfare because, or as a consequence of, the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Having said that, it was pretty clear to DOD and people who spend their time thinking about this significantly earlier than that. And you did see it in the Armenia-Azerbaijan conflict. It just didn't get nearly as much press as Ukraine-Russia. Now that we're all aware, it's pretty clear that UAS, depending, I should say, regardless of which side you're on, are playing a much more significant role in warfare. The good guys and the bad guys, depending on whichever one you choose, are using them for basically three applications. One is pure surveillance, spying. Let's go see what the other guy is doing. The second that we've seen Russia using against the Ukrainians is as their smart weaponry began to run out and they had more of what's called dumb weapons that don't self-target. They were using drones to do that reconnaissance for targeting support. And then the third, which has really emerged in the last 6 weeks, is what they call loitering munitions or kamikaze drones, where they're acting as the weapon themselves. So absolutely, there is more and more use of weapons. And then as a consequence of that, the counter drone or airspace security side of that, which really goes to two levels. Level one is what we call DTI, detect, track, identify, where you're using it for air domain awareness. You know what's there, you get early warning, you see it coming, you know where it is. And then the second piece of that, which is completing the end-to-end kill chain with some kind of mitigation capability.
Yeah, just in that aspect, we've seen so much development in just the last year or so. What do you think the next 5 to 10 years have in store for the UAS industry?
Oh my gosh, it's so exciting that you could fill a book with it. Drones are clearly going to become a daily part of our lives. Today, we might see them at a park or we use them for fun. But I don't even think we can imagine the amazing applications that drones could have in our lives. We all think about the Amazon being delivered to our door with a drone, but there's so much more. We've heard about precision agriculture, tremendous opportunity to save water. Deliveries beyond just our Amazon package to medical deliveries are happening today with companies like Zipline. I saw a really fun, or it's not fun, I guess, but cool application on YouTube the other day where a drone gets sent to you much faster than an ambulance can, and then the drone turns into a defibrillator to save lives.
Wow.
This is just beginning to scratch the surface of what drones can do for us. So I think when you think about it, again, this is why I'm trying to really change the conversation from counter drone to airspace security. It's like every other tool in our society today. The tools have wonderful, amazing things that they can do for humans. And then in bad actors' hands, they can do bad things. So it's not a question of counter drone, but really being able to surveil the airspace and say, you are fine. You, I don't recognize. Let's have a conversation and take a second look.
Awesome. Well, that was the last question I had for you today. Do you have anything else that you would like to add?
I'm really grateful for what you guys do. I think that would be the second comment. from the education at the university to the summit you put on to this extension. I think you guys are doing a great job of expanding that awareness to the amazing tool that uncrewed aircraft systems can be in our lives. So thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you for your kind words, and thank you for joining us today. Again, we are joined today by Mary-Lou Smulders, Chief Marketing Officer at Dedrone. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. If you or your company is interested in recording a podcast, please contact UAS Magazine. We hope that you enjoyed this episode, and we look forward to next time. Until then, thanks again.